If you're trying to build your self-confidence, I want you to really think about who you are competing with. Let me explain what I mean. I want you to imagine for a minute. Let's say you're headed to the gym. You got your bag, you got your water bottle, you check in, you swipe through the door. And as you're filling up your bottle, you might give someone a head nod, smile. And as you're filling up your bottle, you're looking around and then you're thinking, man, that guy's benching way more than I am. Man, that guy over there, he's pressing way more than I am. He's more diced, he's more shredded than I am. That guy's in way better. And all of a sudden, you're in this endless loop before you even start of self-comparison, right? You're thinking to yourself, man, why haven't I reached that yet? Why don't I look like that? And again, it's just this negativity. And you may not think a lot of it at the time, right? But if we're honest with ourselves, if we really, really think about it, it starts to affect you because it's that cycle of comparison that makes you feel inadequate. It makes you feel subpar and just puts you in a bad place, right? So you can't be in the gym looking at the guy to the left and looking at the guy to the right because they're in a different lane and they don't care what you're doing, right? So you shouldn't care what they're doing, right? You have to be focused on what you're doing. And that is to be trying to get better than you were the day before, than last week, than last month, right? So how can we do this? So again, we know that to build your confidence, right, it doesn't come from beating other people or being better or comparing to someone else. So let me give you an example. If you've ever played competitive sports at a high level, either a team sport, an individual sport, or even just any event, right? Any sort of competition, you get confidence for sure by winning, by beating someone else, but it's momentarily, right? Because the next day you can be sure that there's going to be someone else because there's going to be a better team. There's going to be a better person that's beat you, right? And then you feel down and then you get down on yourself. You lose confidence. And the problem is you're comparing or you're trying to base your confidence on someone else's position, right? So you want to make sure that you are just comparing yourself to what you were. And that should be your only track. That should be your only measurement, really. How much of you improved, right, from the past. So a couple things that I've been doing recently is to track your progress, right? So in terms of tracking, there's a couple things you could do. So one is to track your lifts, right? You want to be able to track your weight, your sets, your reps, right? Just to make sure that you are progressing, right? And again, that does what? It enforces, you can look back and say, okay, I am improving. I have something to look at. I can definitely prove to myself that I have been improving, right? The second thing is tracking your macros, right? You want to be able to track your calories, your protein, your fat intake, your carb intake. Again, if you are at a certain level, if you're getting more serious, not everyone has to do that. I'm not saying that. But again, if you want to take it to the next level, you need to be able to track your progress in terms of your lifts and your diet intake, right? The third thing, and not a lot of people talk about this, but it's something I've been thinking about recently, is tracking your mental state. Like, again, we talked about before you even get into the gym, you're in this mindless loop of comparing yourself. Why don't I look like that? Why don't I feel like that? Why can't I lift like that? And that affects your lift because at the end of the day, sometimes, when you have those workouts and you're like, man, like, I just didn't feel it today. I couldn't lift today. I couldn't hit that PR. Didn't have it in me. I don't know what it was. But usually it's because of that mental state. I get that a lot of us are trying to rush to the gym, before work, midday lunch work. Maybe you're trying to hit the gym after work. You got to run to the grocery store. You got to cook dinner. I get it. But before you start your lift, maybe take a moment and just kind of focus in and think to yourself, why am I here? Why am I doing this? What am I trying to achieve? I don't care what anyone else is trying to do. So the second thing is, in terms of things to do to build your confidence, again, is to stop comparing yourself. And the easy way to do that is to put down the phone. And I, for sure, am guilty of this. And specifically, I'm talking about looking at content that doesn't inspire you. It's just mindless shit, right? So mute those reels, mute the notifications, do whatever you have to do. Unfollow certain people or certain influencers or whatever you want to call them, right? Certain channels. Just follow stuff that's only going to inspire you. Try and cut back. When I looked at the screen time that I spend. You should do the same thing too. Check your screen time. How much time are you spending? Rather than spending that time scrolling, maybe grab a book, grab a productivity book, grab a self-help book, grab a fiction book. Nothing wrong with that. But just try and do something to improve yourself or trying to improve your mental state. The third thing is, again, it sounds simple, but we don't do it often enough because, again, we're quick to kind of praise other people. Oh, well, congrats on your new car. Congrats on this. Congrats on that lift. Congrats on, you look so good. And we forget that we're doing shit too. Like, look at all the stuff that you've been doing. Look at the stuff. Hopefully you've been going regular to the gym. Hopefully you've been tracking your food. Hopefully you've been sleeping well. Hopefully you've been tracking your mental state. But look back on those small wins, because it's those small wins that are consistent over time. That's what's going to build your confidence. Right? So in the end, man, it's not about comparing yourself to someone else. Right? We really just got to be focused in on ourselves. But at the end of the day, you really just got to put your head down. You got to grind. I know it's tough. I know it's hard. It's not easy. But I can tell you for sure, going to the gym regularly, eating well, trying to cut back on the booze, trying to cut back on the beer, it makes such an improvement to your mental state, to your physical state. You will feel better, right? So just put that daily grind in and just get after it. All right, that's all I got for now. Take care and I'll talk to you soon.